Welcome to yet another episode of A Story for Your Query. Young children are often taught to say sorry and shake hands and say, I forgive you. But what exactly does this mean to them? For a fourth grader, it often means getting even. Punishment is the ultimate. So, no punishment, no forgiveness. Whereas a seventh grader is able to think of oneself and also that of others. They have developed a reciprocal perspective. According to this, they would say it is easier to forgive if they are compensated for what it is lost. Example, if an apple is stolen, the apple has to be returned. Is that as simple as that? Most definitely not. At a slightly higher level of development, namely teenagers and young adults, forgiveness means to show mercy. Today, I shall talk about forgiveness, which is a theme suggested by the listeners of this podcast. Let me start with the story of the giving tree, written and illustrated by Shel Silverstein. The story is about a tree's sacrificial love for a boy. They play together happily every day, but the boy grows up and pursues the trappings of adulthood: money, a house, a family, travel. So the tree gives the boy her apples to sell, her branches to build a house, her trunk to make a boat. By the end, the tree is reduced to a mere stump. But the boy, now a tired old man, needs nothing more than a quiet place to rest. So he sits on the stump and the tree is happy. I have always wondered whether the story of the giving tree is a story of unconditional love or disturbing tale of selfishness. Whatever it may be, the tree had been forgiving and giving in to the selfish demands of the boy. Let's take another example, a story from the Mahabharata. Shishupala was born with 3 eyes and 4 arms. And Akashvani foretold that his superfluous body parts would disappear when a certain person takes the child into his lap, and that Shishupala would eventually die at the hands of that same person. When Krishna placed the child on his lap, the extra eye and arms disappeared, thus indicating Shishupala's death was destined at the hands of Krishna. Shishupala's mother persuaded her nephew Krishna that he would pardon his cousin Shishupala for 100 offenses. Rukmi, the prince of Vidarbha, was very close to Shishupala. He wanted his sister Rukmini to marry Shishupala. But before the ceremony could take place, Rukmini was whisked away by Krishna. This made Shishupala angry and he hated Krishna. Pandavas performed a Rajasuya Yajna and decided that Krishna would be the special honored guest at the sacrificial ceremony. This angered Shishupala and he started insulting Krishna. His 100 abuses were pardoned by Krishna as per the promise to Shishupala's mother. When he insulted Krishna again, he committed his 101st sin. At this point, Krishna releases his weapon, Sudarshana Chakra, on Shishupala and kills him on the spot. What is the difference between the two stories as far as forgiveness is concerned? To forgive does not mean that you condone every wrongdoing. Forgiving does not mean you have to forget the wrongdoing. To put it simply, forgiveness is eliminating the negativity that results from the hurt by letting go of the emotional baggage. Why should we forgive? According to the Mayo Clinic, deliberate letting go of negative emotions, particularly those that are strong, bring with it plenty of health benefits, including improved relationships, decreased anxiety and stress, lower blood pressure, a lowered risk of depression, and stronger immunity and health. So, forgiveness is for our own growth and happiness. When we hold on to the hurt, pain, resentment, and anger harm us far more than harms the offender. Resentment can often lead to anger. Forgiveness allows us to move on without anger or contempt or seeking revenge. Visualize a chain around your neck, held by the one who wronged you. Until you can forgive, you won't break the chain, and the person will still have an unhealthy hold on you. Forgiveness clears the cobwebs so that we can see the good again. When you forgive, you will be able to see all the positive qualities in the person who hurt you, qualities that you loved once, and allows you to accept him or her fully, warts and all, and have a chance at long-lasting, healthy relationship. How to learn forgiveness? It takes strength and courage to forgive. It is difficult for kids who have not developed all the tools to deal with emotions like adults have. Sibling arguments are common. Kids need to learn reconciliation. Train them how to do it and be consistent in reinforcing the principles of forgiveness with even the smallest issues. Help your child to identify the feeling he or she is experiencing and verbalize it. It might also be a good idea to discuss the forgiveness practices over the dinner table. Unconditionally forgive even when it is not reciprocated. Forgiveness is not being about right. Make your child understand that when you forgive someone, it is not about being right or wrong, but about making the relationship right. There should be no negotiations or conditions. If you make my bed for the next week, I will forgive you. That is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is given without expectations or conditions. Give it time. Children may not understand an abstract concept like forgiveness. Explain to them. Make the kids hug, shake hands, and go about doing their own thing. Very often, parents get involved in children's fights. Consequently, the parents may end up arguing, whilst the kids may join hands and play. Parents to avoid this situation at all cost. Teach perspective. Get the children to see both sides of the issue. Forgiving is much easier when we know the whole story and not just half of it. The golden rule. Treat others as we wish to be treated ourselves. Ask your kids how they would want someone to respond when they did something wrong. They would want to be forgiven. Then tell them to do likewise. Teachers and parents could ask, how would you want the person that you have wronged to respond? Would you want them to forgive you? And discuss it. Get the children to introspect. Initially, provide crutches and gradually let them do it on their own. It has been found that after learning forgiveness, some children even perform better at school, have fewer behavioral concerns, and feel more positive about their parents and teachers. In order to forgive, sometimes we need to look beyond the action and explore the person. For example, if your child is upset, Sheila called him or her a name during recess, help your child explore what was happening. Maybe Sheila was on the outskirts of the hopscotch game and wanted to play. Maybe she felt bad that she was not invited to play or was jealous of those who were. Helping your child understand a possible trigger for the person's actions encourages compassion and forgiveness. Write a diary or a journal. This is more relevant for a teenager. Daily reflections can also be done. A friendship band could be used as a token of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not come easy to children under 5 years of age. Try telling them stories about care and love. By the time the child reaches 6 or 7, the kid would have reached the basic reasoning ability, so forgiveness can be introduced gradually. However, more stress should be given to positive concepts like kindness, respect, generosity, and again, love. Finally, I sum up with yet another story. A story of two friends. Two friends who had quarreled during a journey through a desert. Over an argument, one friend slapped the other. The friend who was slapped felt hurt and wrote on the sand, "Today, my best friend slapped me." They continued their journey and reached an oasis. The friend who was slapped got stuck in the mire and began to drown. On seeing this, his friend rushed to the rescue and saved him. After being saved, the friend wrote on a stone, "Today, my best friend saved my life." The friend who had slapped him earlier and who saved his life later was puzzled. He asked the friend, "When I slapped you, you wrote on the sand, but now you have written on stone. Why is that?" The friend replied, "When somebody hurts us, we should write it down on sand, where winds of forgiveness will erase it. But when someone does well for us, we must engrave it on stone, where no wind can erase it." Any questions that you may have could be addressed to yourquerymystory@gmail.com. I shall try to answer it as quickly as I can. If the query is good, I might pick it up to feature in the podcast. Anchor and Spotify permits voice messages. Perhaps you would want to check that out. Bye till then. I'll see you on Wednesday.